Hello, everybody. Welcome. So we've been reading the chat, and you guys are just the sweetest. And we just want to say how much, just your comments, like they're making my week here. So I know for me personally, like I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that. Michelle and Brandon, how are you guys? Michelle, welcome back.
Yay!
Good to be here. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just trying to survive the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta love Alberta, where last week it was like snowing and like minus 20 or whatever it was, and now it's like 30 degrees and we're all sweating, and I'm like, good God, what the hell is going on? Welcome to Canada.
You guys are preparing for when you come down here.
Yes. Yeah. But it's a different heat though, Brandon. That's
totally
the thing.
different.
It's we have a humidity, like we have high humidity, whereas you guys have that dry, and it's not quite as bad, I think.
Not here in Austin. So there's lots of water and hills and greenery. Like there's tons of greenery. People don't think Texas and think green, but I mean it's all over. So you'll be totally used to it then when you get here.
No kidding. I was just looking at your eye. It looks like you have an X-ray on you.
I know. Look at this.
It's like you should be in an X-ray machine or something.
I used to have a service called X-ray Visions because that's how I felt like I saw into people and it happens regularly, that if you study human design, that projector aura, it's like a laser. And so when I tune into somebody, I'm literally like looking at their skeleton. I'm looking at all those insides and all the things you don't want me to look at. That's why people either really, really love me or totally hate me and are repulsed and pushed away by me because they see that I can see into them. And if you got some stuff in there that you're hiding, well, it's going to be uncomfortable.
I can't imagine anybody not liking you.
It happens. Trust me. Yeah. How have you been, Kathy?
You know what? I am okay. It has been like a busy week, which is I was just actually responding to Miguel. I was just asking if Megan's coming. Yeah, it's been a busy week. So if you guys haven't noticed, I actually put up the readings, the weekly zodiac readings are in the description box, or not the description box, on my channel. You can find the playlists for them. Also, I am starting a new series. So this is going to be a daily series where I'm just doing random messages from spirit. Okay, so I have no idea what the subject is going to be for that day. It's just like I'm going to my cards and what I feel drawn to. I'm going to be pulling some of the decks and just going for it. So we will see what comes up, what messages come through. You know what I get a kick out of though is sometimes when I'm doing those weekly readings, I'll be talking about something and I haven't turned the card over yet, and I'm just talking and and then all of a sudden I'll turn the card and it will literally be exactly what I've been speaking about. And it's so that's why I thought I would start this daily messages from spirit, because I found that usually when I'm doing readings, the spirit really talks to me sometimes through the cards, like so directly. And I thought, I'm just going to go for this. And I'm so excited. So, yeah, although I will say that for the last 3 days, I've been up until like 2:30 in the morning editing videos. So
for you, that's late for you.
What's that?
I said, for you, that's pretty late. I know. For me,
I know.
I'm up to 3 all the time.
Actually, it's funny because I started watching Grey's Anatomy on Netflix, and I've never seen Grey's Anatomy before. I you see it on TV, but I've never watched it, never before. So in the last week, I'm now on season 8. And Dre said, Mom, I think this is one of those shows where you're going to have to, he goes, this is like the most white woman show ever. You need a glass of wine and join the PTA, and then you're all good to go and become a soccer mom or something. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. So it's been a good week, but I'm like, I'm tired, you get tired, right? So it's just, you got to, I think it's about organizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we were going to talk about, you explain it, because I think it works perfectly.
Well, essentially talk about structure, and oftentimes when something has to be rebuilt, or if you're doing any kind of foundation work, and this is aside from, homes and real estate, which has been my total focus lately, it still, I think, goes for the same, even when you're building relationships and having emotional connections. If something at that structure, at that core is damaged, and it could be by you doing it yourself, outside force, internal relation, whatever it is, however it becomes damaged, even if there's like a little crack in that wall, you are going to have to deconstruct or decompile all those things so that you can rebuild that foundation into something, that fits, that works. And I think, honestly, and you guys can agree or disagree, I think relationships often take those check-ins for all of us, and even ourselves, our own core components and principles and morals. They have to be checked in every once in a while. If they're not, the universe is going to throw you something to check you and be like, hey, are you still sure you abide by this? And it's as if, we all see that tower moment as something so awful and debilitating and something that is just, terrifying we don't want to deal with. But really, I think those are the gifts. Those are the moments that show you what's real.
Yeah.
Because anything real cannot really be threatened if it's true. And it leaves you to rebuild whatever you want to do. It doesn't mean you have to end this relationship or end this or end that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to figure out how it works better. But that whole process takes time, right? Mm-hmm. Everything about that takes time.
I think that's a very good point, is that the problem with us is that we want to rush through everything.
Of course.
We want to rush through those phases. We want to rush through the next step. We want to rush through and just feel better, or be better, or get better. And, it can be really hard to do. What's interesting? So I got into a conversation with somebody this week. It's a little bit off, but it's not really. And we were especially talking about spiritual journeys, or people that, and we've all had, those people come to us and they say, how do you be a psychic? Or how do I learn this? Or how do I do that? Or how do I open up spiritually? And they kind of want you to walk them through the steps.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're like, it's not that you don't want to be there as a support system to some degree, but the whole journey is truly about the self and connecting with spirit. So if you're taking those steps away by saying, this, that, or the other thing, it can really, it's not really giving them that tower moment or those shadow moments, right? That are really needed for that part of the journey.
That's true. That's beautifully put. I think, though, that I think we could try to escape and avoid the tower moments as much as we can, or try or want to, but they're still going to happen. It's still going to show us that we're not fully ever always in control.
Well,
it's always going to come up.
Things break down if we get too comfortable. We ignore the small moments that we could have, engaged in before. But nothing's going to make you move except that big push, something's really not right. So, I think if anything, the universe is probably telling you certain things that you just become numb to before, something really pushes you, off that cushy life and makes you realize you've got to make some changes.
You know,
We all get.
you bring up something interesting because it hits me in multiple different ways here. The word comforts, a lot of people say comfort is like the ultimate killer, right? Like retirement, when people retire, they're more likely to pass away sooner because there's nothing else that they have going on. And so they don't feel that sense of motivation and that push, versus people who, continuously work it through whatever age. I think it's they're I say that as a Taurus who absolutely loves comfort and loves being comfortable all the time. You do kind of create sedentary interaction when you're totally comfortable. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, I guess I just, I really want for nothing because I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm comfortable. Like, I don't really want for anything. I'm just chilling however I am. And it's definitely it's a fine line. It's a fine balance of like, okay, what's the right amount of comfort and what's the right amount of discomfort? And
comfort and stability are two different things too. You know what I
yes.
mean? I think we all sometimes we lump comfortable just depending on what our nervous system and our life has allowed us to experience already. That can be totally different things. Something extremely toxic can become comfortable if we're not, ready to see that it is that. We can also get comfortable being the angry person in someone's life who, does need to make changes, or it could just be so many different things,
That's huge. That's big.
Yeah.
I hope everybody heard that. Sometimes you can be comfortable with toxicity.
Yes. Yeah. You get into a comfort zone, where, and we've experienced that even with clients, where people may be in that place that they're so used to disappointment, or they're so used to, things not working out or whatever it is, that they tend to get into this area where they're just comfortable almost with it. And they don't want to make those changes that are necessary for that next advancement. Right. And
That's
it's almost like, well, I'm never going to get this. So basically what you're telling me is just bullshit, or they'll say like, when is it going to appear? Well, you have to make these changes first. Well,
right.
Well, you're not a reader. How do you, it's like, well, I'm telling you how to bring it through, but you're not listening. You don't want to do the work that is involved in creating what it is you're trying to manifest.
You can also take a situation that was meant for you to move forward in and to get out of those, let's say, toxic behaviors of yourself, or toxic behaviors you're used to taking from someone else, and you can also turn those into just something that you're more comfortable with, which might be like, let's say, more stress, more fighting, because it's only what you're used to, right? And it's hard to like see those moments within yourself where you're like, I'm willing to make this not the thing I'm used to, not the thing I'm comfortable with, and turn it into something else, right?
I remember in school where I had an instructor, and this was for hypnotherapy school, and she was talking to us about how some of her sessions that she had, and some aggressions here, and some anger that she had built up with a parent. And when she had this work done in this regression in the session, she walked out of there with this feeling that totally dissipated. And it was this feeling of constant anger that she had since she was young, that she had from an interaction with a parent, that has literally stayed with her whole life. And so when that feeling left, there was a little bit of panic because she was different than she had been her entire life. So yeah, there is absolutely
else, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is that initial shock of like, oh my God, this is different. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad or good. It's different than what you've been used to. And so sometimes there are some people who have just experienced so much shock, trauma, toxicity in relationships that they just allow that to happen. And that's why it's so important for us to know ourselves and check in with where we are. That's why our emotions are such important indicators. They are not definitive things. They are just indicators of what is going on, right? So
absolutely,
it's interesting to really help guide clients. I just saw one of my clients just got proposed to and engaged. I was so excited and happy for them. Oh my gosh. And I know that we had really spoke a lot on relationships, and that was a lot of what our sessions were centered around. And it's such a rewarding feeling to see this beautiful full circle moment. Now all they need to do is just hire me to do their wedding ceremony.
Well, yeah, because you do weddings, don't you? That's right.
Like I do. I have a wedding coming up the 12th of June. I'm really excited. For that. And then I have another one that I'm going to do for my cousin next year. But I'm sure there will be others popping up in between. I might make myself more available to do that. See, I'm going to be like a full service shop. Come in, buy a house, get a reading, get another reading, and then have me marry you, and then come in for checkup, and then come to my resort for your honeymoon.
Yeah.
Or do the wedding there too. That's
there you go. Right? Why would you have a big resort without the wedding? Might as well. You know.
I just followed the paths. I followed my instinct. I followed my intuition. Even when everything outside of me and all the people were telling me it was wrong or not right, I just kept following the inner voice, and things just eventually add up and lead to, where we're supposed to be. We have to trust that. I know I do. That's my life path. I have to trust that. Everybody else, they can do whatever. I'll be here to help you realize, I should have trusted that a long time ago.
So guys, I think I'm going to go off camera for a bit so I can get more of these questions in order. But
okay, I want to show you something before you go away. So my friend Cathryn came over last week, and she brought me some, I can't remember what it's called, Oralite 23, I believe it's called, and it's only mined in Ontario. So it's a beautiful story. It's like, it kind of looks like amethyst to some degree.
You're gonna have to hold that closer.
Yeah, let's see if I can.
It matches your walls.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But look at this. So this is a chakra tuning crystal.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, it is. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You stop it.
Sure.
Tune my chakras.
Yeah. But it's it's absolutely gorgeous. I was just like, so I've been putting this in my videos because it just cleanses at the same time. It's just beautiful. So
cool. Chakra tuner. Got it.
Yes. Well, we'll see how that works. I'm sure my chakras need a good cleansing or something. So,
okay. Well, those are beautiful. And yeah, I'll get back on camera with you guys later.
Bye. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to, how do I do this? Can I rearrange this in some way? Or maybe not? No, I guess I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'll kind of switch it around a bit though. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Okay, so everybody have their questions in. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is before we get into the readings, we'll take a short break. We're going to go off for like 3 minutes, guys. And I need to actually grab some water because it's like a steam oven in this room here. I would bring my fan in, but you have that whirling sound in the back. And I think that would be more annoying than just sweating. What's that?
I had that exact same problem. I only have a real sized fan here, so
yeah.
I have to get y'all one of those.
I'll just go take
fans.
what's that?
I have to get y'all some of those fancy fans.
Oh yeah, I got to get one. I could just make one. Yeah, see, there you
there
go.
we go.
I forgot I had it next to me until you said that. So
You got to do
awesome.
that whole, like, take the fan and what do you do like that?
Like a geisha.
Hold it in front of you. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
that did not work. That did not work, and I will not do that again.
Perfect.
All
right, so guys, we're going to be back in about 3 minutes, so be patient with us, and we will get right into the readings when we get back. Remember that if you do want your to be put up at the top of the list, you can just send us a donation at the email address below, PayPal, or just use through PayPal, or if you're in Canada, through e-transfer at the email address below. Let me speak properly, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back.
Yay.
I swallowed water the wrong way, and I was like, oh, please stop coughing before we go back on the live. I was like, oh no, I'm sitting here choking. Oh God. Always attractive to do on live.
It's real life. That's how you know it's not scripted.
So, oh yeah, speaking of script, so live show. So when we had Erica on Sunday, do you remember that? I had this globe that just about missed my head. It was so funny. This one here, it was on my shelf. And as we were talking, I can't remember exactly what we were talking. I think we were talking about, like, to some degree, the paranormal and stuff. And this is like the second time it happened, not with the globe, but it was funny because this literally like just rolled right off my shelf. So you guys have to watch that show because it's actually pretty funny. But I did a live show with Dan Hammond, who we're actually going to have on this Sunday at 2:00 p.m.
Nice.
when we do our live show. And he is a paranormal investigator, and he has some amazing stories. He's also he has a podcast as well. He's co-host on a podcast, but he's also been on the TV show Paranormal Survivor as a consultant. So he has some fantastic stories. So if you guys get a chance, definitely tune in to our show on Sunday, because we're going to be bringing Dan on, Brandon and I, and he's a fantastic guest. It's lots of fun. So you will hear some crazy stuff, crazy and real.
I love it.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. So, yeah, I know. Sorry, Naomi. She's saying I get on and then I have to leave early. I hate when I miss the paranormal stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose you can always watch the replay, right?
But yeah, exactly. It plays out the same when you watch the replay, because we're interviewing. Basically, we do interact with guests, like when we're there, just chatting with you. But it's sometimes a separate conversation. So they can definitely be replayed and listened to like a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes they're actually they're kind of fun to listen to in the car, right? Turn them on, listen to them through the speaker, because you don't really have to, interact on a visual level at times either. You can just kind of let it play in the background and stuff. So let's get to it. We'll get to our readings. All right. Michelle, I believe Jessica's first, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And I just got her question. So Jessica is a Pisces, and she's asking about Tim the Taurus. They recently had a breakthrough, and she wants to know if he's currently thinking of me and if he'll actually ask to meet up.
So, Brandon, Jessica's one of those guests where I like it when you say what you say first, simply because I do talk to Jessica on a regular basis, and so I'll kind of come in after, but if you can pick up first.
So right away, Jessica, what I am being shown is that when I look at the energy between the both of you, it definitely feels as if the bond is getting the most highlights here. They are showing me a lot of energy being placed on the bond itself. They do show me that there is forward movement happening as well. But it's also important to note that forward movement is going to look different than maybe what your own mind may want. And they are showing me that, it's a really interesting vision. So I'll explain the vision and I'll explain what the energy is behind it. So they're showing me it's as if the two of you are like on horseback and you're riding through this forest, and it's got all these vines hanging down in front, and you have to like burst and push past these vines. Some of them have to be cut and moved, and they're trying to like pull you off the horse. So this is a beautiful example of how you're going to have to move through friction. So this feels like the bond is actually being put to a test. It's seeing how resilient it is. It's seeing how strong the both of you are separately and together. So it is creating a very interesting situation of a test, plain and simple. Let me look at Tim here and his thoughts, his feelings towards you, just to get the vibe, see where he is. Hang on, let me pull his energy in here real quick. Mr. Taurus, man. Okay. So I do feel within Tim, where he is with you, is that there's a very clear indication of some kind of change in patterns that he's had with you. And specifically, Spirit keeps detailing communication. It seems like either the space or the mode or even the words of communication are giving new insights. It's like he's starting to see things in a different way in connection here with you. So it does make me feel like I know we've talked about this in the past where he's had to go through these moments of learning lessons and things for himself. And it does seem when I connect with him that he is and has taken on these learning things. Now, clearly you're not out of the woods yet, right? Per that vision that I had. But I'm getting all good indications that there is actually something going on here and that there is a shift in the lens, if you will, a shift in perception. So it does feel like that work has actively been done, but your bond is still going to be tested. You are still going to be put through tests. And these are important moments. They're important moments to see, kind of like we were talking about in the beginning of the show. I'm not sure if you were here, but, about the foundations and where that foundation is, if there are any cracks in it, you get to revisit that. You get to rebuild. You get to honor the connection, but also, you're checking in individually with yourselves too. So this feels like a really honest moment. And I use that word strategically. Honesty is going to be very, very crucial in the two of you kind of busting past these vines, that I had saw earlier, if you will. So don't be afraid of a little bit of friction. It's okay. It's okay.
So it's interesting because I think Brandon has pretty much hit on everything that I've been, talking to you about, through this last week or so. And I really feel like, as he just said, honesty. I think that honesty is really going to be important here, especially from your end. Okay. So it really feels like I just keep feeling like patterns, and you have to break the patterns because that is going to be the movement forward. It feels like there's progress. There's definitely progress within the situation, right? And different communication and stuff like that. But what you want to do is, I have one of my hairs in my mouth. Sorry. I'm really winning it tonight, aren't I? It's like, so but what you want to do is there's still a circle, right? It's still a circle. There's still a pattern, that's going on. And one of you has to be the one that busts through that pattern. It may create to some degree a different pattern, but it's almost like it widens the pattern. Okay. Like it creates a stronger bond, a stronger communication with each other. But if you continue to go in the circles, that is not going to be, it's not going to be progressive. It may feel progressive because there's more movement within the circle. Okay. So like when a circle is going fast, it feels like it's doing more things because of the fact that it's going in a faster speed, but it's still a circle. So you have to break through that circle in some way, shape, or form. So it's basically like, and that's where that honesty comes in. If something isn't resonating with you, if you don't like something, you can't hold back because you're scared that, that there's going to be a loss or anything like that.
Well,
because that will keep you back, right?
Spirit keeps showing it to me in this way, and I'd love to share if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
They are showing me that in order to have true intimacy, you have to be honest. If you are not fully honest, you'll never be fully intimate with somebody, because intimacy does require vulnerability, and that requires being honest and direct about your thoughts, your feelings, your expectation, whatever it is. You have to be fully honest in order to have a true, intimate, deep connection. And I think that's exactly what Jessica personally wants. I feel that within her and what she wants in her connection. And to facilitate that, we got to get a little uncomfortable. Being naked isn't always a comfortable thing. And especially in light of another person, other eyes, and feeling as if you're being judged or criticized in some way. But it's essentially just stripping naked and you don't have to be comfortable with it. It can be an uncomfortable process, but you have to engage in it. And it's from that place that honesty happens, that vulnerability happens. And if you don't know about vulnerability, highly recommend listening to Brene Brown's talk about vulnerability and how important it is, because it's huge.
That is, that's a very good point. Actually, Brene Brown has that, she does have that Netflix show that's on right now. I know she does have the YouTube one or the TED Talk.
Yeah, the TED Talk, I think.
About vulnerability, but the Netflix one is actually very good too. And I think it was created after her vulnerability speech, and she goes in a little bit deeper.
Oh, it's great. I laughed. I cried. It was great. I haven't belly laughed like that from watching somebody's talk in so long.
Yeah. She's like reading a whole book, you know what I mean?
Oh,
gives you a whole download, and like it just hits you so hard, you know?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I've cried my eyes
out really help.
Probably.
It's great.
Yeah,
but and that's what I keep being shown, is that clouded sense of intimacy. You know, when somebody, it's like, how do you explain it? You're like cuddling, or you're close, or having sex, or just intimate with somebody, and they feel like they're not fully there, or it feels like you're kind of amidst a block or a wall, and you're like, are you holding yourself back? But when you have that full vulnerability, you don't feel that. You just feel that, you know, synchronistic connection with somebody where things just, they fit, they line up. And I think we should all honestly strive for that in our interpersonal connections. But, you know, we've all got things we got to carry around for one or another. So
to answer your question, Jessica, I don't think it's so much that you have to keep bringing it up. I think it's the fact that you have to revert into not participating as much, but being honest in the extent of, well, I don't want to do this with somebody who isn't seeing me in person, or, you know, that's too personal for me, you know, if somebody's not, you know, willing to be with me one-on-one or whatever it is. Like, there's ways about it that you know, it's being very, what it's doing is it also brings up your value as a person. It creates a higher value, right? Like, you know, it's sort of that difference between, and this is not with you, okay, because I know this isn't happening with you. I'm just using this as an example. It's sort of that difference between, you know, we always hear about those people that are, those women that are like, oh yeah, but he messages me at like, you know, 2:00 in the morning when he's out of the bar, but I don't want to say no to him. No, girl, say no to him. Like, because you're only going to be the 2:00 in the bar person. Do you see what I mean? And you want to elevate that. You want to become something that is, even if they take a step back and they say, okay, well, fine. If you're not going to be the 2:00 in the morning person, then great. I'll just go then be it. Why would I take my time to do this if I'm only getting to but it gives them that time to think, because if they truly want to be with you, they will make those steps to create something in some way. So that, you know, that's that difference, right?
It's just about self-worth and having good self-worth.
Yeah. And, you know, so it's just changing the words.
If we want successful relationships, we don't bend ourselves around the will or wants of the other person. You know, it has to be a complementary thing. We can't force ourselves to be somebody for someone else, because we'll never be fully fulfilled or happy. It just won't happen.
Yes. So if, you know, who's ever watching, there's actually, I'm just going to go into this for a second, because I really like Matthew Hussey. Okay. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's like, I don't know, I guess he's like a dating coach, or, you know, but he, you know, really it's about relationships in general. And he's, you know, if you go to his channel, you know, he does have some examples and stuff. And he explains there's 3 different types of people. Okay. You've got low value, middle value, and high value. So let's say after a date, you're at the door and a guy, you know, is hinting that he wants to come in. All right. But you know, that's not cool with you. You just went on one date. You're not ready for that. Hey, that is your privilege to do. Right. And the low value person will say to them, how dare you suggest something like that? I don't know you, and I've only been on one date with you, and blah, blah, blah. And they start giving them shit, right? That's the low value person. A middle value person says to them, I got to get up early in the morning. Thanks for the dinner, but I got to get up early in the morning. Because the guy knows the girl's going to get up at the same bloody time that she does every day. I mean, he's not stupid, right? So, again, that's kind of, depreciating your own worth by saying something that a high value woman will say, you know what? You're hot. I think you're hot. I would love to, invite you in, but this is way too soon for me. This is way too soon for me. And I want to get to know you first before I become truly intimate with you in a physical way. Once we go on a few dates and we really get to know each other, that's absolutely something that I'm interested in later on down the way. High value woman right there. And that's the difference. It's all about the way that we speak and the way that we communicate. And, because that low value woman, she's never getting another call unless he's like that. That's like unless he's a low value man. Do you see what I'm saying? So what do you want? Do you want a low value man or do you want a high value man? And that's that difference that's coming through in there. So it's just something for everybody to kind of, just think about and remember.
Yeah. Have good value of yourself. If you want something beautiful, be beautiful for you first.
Exactly. Right. Because, how we are is what we're going to draw in.
100%.
So do we want to be high value or do we want to be mediocre value?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's where we really want to.
Jessica's reading got us into a lecture.
Yeah, but it's so simple to just say to somebody, look, you know what, that's cool, but I'm not. That's not for me. Like that's not for me right now. And especially with somebody who's, doing this or somebody who's not taking that time to come close to me and this is just in general, not just with Jessica, but I just feel like it's a good lesson for males and females to recognize, right? Like we have to hire our value. And yeah, we'll get into it, Michelle. We'll go ahead to the next one. Sorry.
No. I was just going to summarize and say okay. So don't put someone who puts you in a low value position in your high value position and expect, different results, I guess.
Right. That's exactly it. Yes, I absolutely agree.
The universe honors those who honors themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And if we want to break a cycle, we're the ones that sometimes have to break through that ring, that wheel that's going around and around and around. Sometimes we have to risk losing something in order to gain it as well. And that's exactly what we were talking about at the beginning, is breaking down that structure in order to rebuild from something that is going to be better for us or higher value for us, whatever it is.
Yeah, I wanted to actually mention something that's really been going on and going through my mind a lot, which is a little bit in line with that. And it's something that I've had to remember a couple times in my life, is that people can only meet you at the same depth that they've met themselves. So yeah, from some people it's not available at that time, and you also can't take it too personally. If they're not in a phase in their life where they're willing to go through that journey with you or become something with you that's better or stronger, even if you can see it for them, you can't always force it.
Yeah, that's on them.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful statement, actually. Thank you. It's very true, though. Sometimes that's a hard statement to remember.
Especially when you're amidst emotions. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's sometimes that it's that moment, that light bulb moment. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm coming out of it.
I have to have personal responsibility. Oh, come on.
Damn. Damn, right? Exactly. Exactly.
Did you guys want a
Um,
question?
yeah, I hope that's helped Jessica so much. I hope it's given you, because I really feel like things are moving and progressing. Moving
I don't
and
know. I
progressing.
feel an energy. I'm feeling an energy from Jessica after all this. Ooh, she don't want to hear it.
Who is
Sorry, we
next,
love
Michelle?
you.
I was thinking we would read for, I believe she donated, and then we'll get to Miguel's after, and some of our lottery questions.
All
Did
right.
did Levity ever comes back? Has she been back yet?
I have tried to get a hold of her, but no, not yet. But she'll be
Okay.
top of the list when she gets back. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
So, are you guys ready for Jenny's?
Yep.
You bet.
Okay. So Jenny is a Sagittarius, and her question was, am I wasting time in my current situation with my husband?
Okay. So the first thing I'm hearing is about growth. Okay. I feel, Jenny, is that you have outgrown a lot of elements of this relationship. So you may want to confirm that just in the chat, but that was the first thing I actually felt. I don't know if it's so much wasting time, but I do feel that it is a matter of growth is what I keep getting. It's almost like you're elevating, but I'm feeling that there's I don't know if he's, I almost feel like a stagnant energy within him. Okay. Is what I keep getting. It almost either he's being stagnant or he's moving in another, like it's almost like a branching off to some degree, but I don't feel that his energy is moving as quickly as yours is. Yours just feels like you're expanding, you're elevating, ascending. I feel like you've been doing a lot of personal work with yourself, and it just feels like you're in this place where you're wanting more. And it almost feels like you want more depth. And I don't know if he's bringing that depth to you at this particular time. It just feels like it's like your soul is literally calling for more, is what I keep getting. It's like more, I want more. So I wouldn't say, I mean, I can never tell somebody, yes, leave them or stay with them. I mean, that's always a personal decision. But what I'm getting here is that there either has to be a way for the both of you to start connecting on maybe perhaps a different level, or you may have some decisions to make, because I just feel like there's a stagnancy within the relationship. And I almost feel too, when we talk about that branching off, it just feels like your circle's here and his circle's here. Like it just feels different. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I'm going to let Brandon come in, and then, we can take a deeper look at it.
So when I'm looking at the energy just in the connection here, Jenny, between you and Jeff, immediately I'm being shown that there is this internal pressure or need for a deep emotional connection, because Spirit keeps showing me the emotions. These opportunities are like just total flatline right now. And I feel a really, really strong pull towards needing to really communicate about it. It feels like there just needs I just feel like I'm getting this impression of things just being spilled out on the table, everything kind of being laid out. And it feels like this, I feel this need from the both of you. I don't know if somebody is like too afraid or of not wanting to do it, or, it could be that fear of being vulnerable that we were talking about earlier. When I'm looking into Jeff and I'm looking at his thoughts and feelings in regards to you, is there does seem to be some frustrations here. And I feel like there is a playfulness that Jeff misses in your connection, where there's ease, where there's new things happening, where there's, just this sense of like it's like a childlike state of enjoyment. You know, when we're in a moment that we really love, we lose all track of time. Things can be silly or, you know, just innocuous by nature. There is this feeling that I feel Jeff really wanting to like revisit. And I feel like perhaps things might have been more serious for one or the other. And it's just created this need to be, you know, more focused on, I don't know, mundane things or, you know, things that aren't as fun. But I am being shown that your relationship is going through a forward movement or forward progression. The bond absolutely does still feel there, but it just feels like you do need to just kind of come back on the same page. And I think that could be shared by a vulnerable moment. And again, that creates amazing intimacy. And I feel like that's part of that playfulness that would come back into things that, you know, sometimes we tend to take things way too serious. So there needs to be that good balance. And I feel like, you know, Jeff is really needing some kind of new life breathed into your connection. And I obviously feel that you do as well, Jenny. So like Kathy said, you know, I'm not going to tell you one way or the other what to do about your relationship. In my personal belief, I think every relationship can be successful. It just depends on what you're willing to sacrifice or adopt to make it so. So yeah, I think that's totally up to you and what you're willing to give or hang on to at this time.
It feels like what I keep getting here also is it like you guys could make a go of this, like for sure. But I mean, again, you know, it really comes down to, you know, personal decisions. Like, is this something that you want to move forward with in some way? But I feel like even if you're going in a different direction and creating your own circle, I guess, or your own, you know, different hobbies or whatever it is, and he's doing this as well, as long as there is that ability to come together in the middle in some form. And I really feel like I just keep feeling a stagnancy. It almost feels like somebody's not willing to grow. And I feel like this is off of his side. So you might be advancing and, like I said, evolving, but it feels like a stagnancy in here. And the problem is that stagnancy, it feels as though it could turn into something that, well, if she's doing this, I'm just going to do this. But it's not out of growth. It feels more out of like anger or pouting or that sort of behavior. Do you see what I mean? Like it feels like, you know, it's kind of like if somebody says, well, you know what, I've developed this group of friends. I really want to spend time with them. You know, they're great. Do you want to join? And I'm just using this as an example. And they're like, no, I don't like those friends. So I'm just going to go create these other friends. But it's not a growth element. It's a stagnant element. It's like, I'm going to go sit in the bar while you're doing spiritual work or helping out charity or something. Like, they're stagnant. You know, one's evolving, one's not. And that's where you have to be really careful of. And that's what I'm getting. So I feel like if he's not willing to, or whoever energy this is that is being stagnant, it you know, that's where you have to make that decision, because it's like he's, yeah. And as Jenny just said, he's stuck in an immature mindset. And that's exactly what I keep feeling. It's like, you want to do this, you want to evolve and grow. And, you know, you know, it's interesting because I have friends and, you know, just to bring in an example, I have friends that actually ended up getting divorced because one wanted to travel. She wanted to see the world. She wanted to, you know, go and do stuff. And he was like, no, I just want to sit in my living room. And so she's like, okay, you know, well, I want to travel then, and you can stay home. And he's like, no, that's not going to work. So she's like, no, I'm not wasting my life doing this. Right. And so that's what you know, have to, you know, pay attention to. And she says, I always put effort. And he's like, do what I want and not listening to what I want for. Yeah. Like it just feels like you're growing, you're evolving, you're ascending, and you're finding all of that, you know, beautiful energy. And he's just I just want to sit on the couch with my beer, you know, type of beer. That's what I keep getting.
One thing that keeps being put into my mind, and this is, I think, is a personal preference. Some people don't like to do this, but I will say that it is a good facilitator of trying to get things on the same page, and it's a good effort to make if you are trying to create reconciliation versus just looking for a reason to leave, is to go to that person's level. Now, I don't normally say this for people, but in a marriage or, a committed long-term relationship, monogamous relationship, getting to that person's level and meeting them where they are, it does foster a sense of, being on the same page. Now, it doesn't mean you need to stay there, but it's just for the sake of communication and coming to understand one another. Because when that reverses, and if they can't come to meet you at your level, now that is where you really start to question, okay, so I met them at theirs. Are they willing to meet me at mine? They're not? Well, then I have some serious reconsideration here. Yeah. So I think that really could be a good step in this case for you, Jenny, of, all right, meet him at his level where he is. If he wants to be immature, you can kind of meet him more in that childlike energy that I was kind of talking about before. Try to create a little bit of playfulness. And if he's not willing to do the same, then I think that would be a good time to really start to consider, is this going to work for me in the future?
Yeah. So I hope that's helped, Jenny. I hope that's given you some sort of, answer. Again, you're going to have to go in with yourself and, or maybe just have that really, hard conversation with him and let him know where your future plans are heading towards. And if he's willing to come along on that trip, fantastic. If he's not, then that's where you have to, and that's where that honesty and communication is coming through as well, right? Yeah. Not only for, what we had said with Jessica, but also with yourself. It just feels like that there needs to be those, sometimes those hard conversations. It's like lay out a map or lay out a plan for the next year or 2 years or whatever and say, look, this is what I want to accomplish as an individual, as a person. Are you on this trip with me or not? Because if they're not,
it's okay.
Then, yeah. So I hope that's helped. Yeah. Who is next, Michelle?
We have Miguel up next. And
okay.
Let me just find his question here. Miguel is a Taurus, of course, and he's looking for just a general reading and messages from his guides.
Okay. So, Miguel, this is funny because I actually felt your energy earlier, like before the show even started. And it was like I had a question. It was almost like I could feel like, I don't know how to explain it. I was getting ready for the show and I literally heard this coming in through spirit, okay, or from spirit for you. And what they were basically asking is, have you recently, because like what I kept feeling was, have you recently, I almost want to say, have you recently had your butt handed to you? Like, was there a big conversation or, some sort of strong communication that has recently happened? Because I just feel a lot of communication. It just feels like a lot of talking, but a lot of, it almost feels like somebody getting into trouble, but not like, not like you're a bad boy, but I mean, like you're, like it just feels like a lot of communication has either happened or about to happen towards something. That was the first thing that actually, came through. And I felt like your guides wanted me to ask you about that because it felt like, so I don't know if either Nimi or Miguel can respond to that just to kind of, give me a sense, because it feels like either one is coming or it's just happened or it's recently, something like that. It really feels like this communication needs to be listened to. I've been communicating with the realtor and Naomi. Okay. Because it feels like there's really important messages that are in there. And I feel like there's a part of your mind that has some walls. Okay, so this is what I keep getting. It's like there's some walls that are around you, and it almost feels like, okay, they're talking, but are you listening? Okay, because it feels like there needs to be more listening than words from your side for some reason. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but it just feels like there needs to be this energy of hearing. Okay, hearing and listening for some reason. So you'll probably know what that's more about than anything else. But I just kept hearing from your guides, it's like, listen, 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 you know. Again, I'm not exactly sure what the whole conversation's about, or they're not really telling me. They're just telling me to tell you to listen. Have you been getting lower back pain? Because I keep hearing something about lower back pain in some way. And so I'm also hearing lymphatics. It feels like you need to be drinking. You know what? I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV. So I'm just going to, but I keep hearing about more water. Okay, more water. And there definitely needs to be some grounding. It really feels like this is a energy of, you know, when somebody's bent over for too long or sitting in a chair position, you know, for too long. And it feels like something about the lymphatic system, like there needs to be more movement in some way, shape, or form. I'm literally seeing, like, you know, it's almost like a figure 8 going around in your body. And there needs to be, again, grounding, more water, dealing with some packing and lifting and move. Oh, okay. Yeah. So make sure that you're stopping and taking, because Naomi she actually just confirmed that. So she said he's been doing some packing and lifting and moving. So his back started hurting, because I actually literally felt my back hurting. So I was getting that sensation coming through, and my guides were like, no, you got to bring it up, because it's not your back, it's Miguel's back. So and again, lymphatic system, it feels like more water, grounding, maybe even some, you know, crystal therapy of some sort, you know, especially under the pillow, like throw some crystals under the pillow. I'm not really getting that there's anything in particular. Like whatever you're drawn to is usually what is needed for us, right? And also make sure that you take a break, because I'm hearing like you're go, and you got to stop. Like you got to allow yourself, you know, that time to sit, and whether it's with the heating pad or, you know, whatever it is, because this could affect your work, especially being a massage therapist. So you already know the drill. Right? So, but you got to start listening to your body is what I keep getting. Okay. So I hope that that's helped.
That's pretty completely spot on here with what I'm picking up too. The way Spirit shows it to me is that they have been knocking on the door, trying to get you to kind of open up your awareness here, open up your energy. And I know that you've done some work on this recently, but for whatever reason, they're just showing me that there is this need to really, and I keep seeing a very specific vision of you just kind of, you're lying back, you're kind of in a comfortable position, and you're doing so much in like this astral realm. And so it feels like it's hitting multiple reasons. One, when we put ourselves in the state of consciousness, we actually allow the body to heal. It like supercharges and speeds up any healing or anything going on with it. Two, it also connects us to our higher self, our higher realm that we are all connected to source. And three, it's going to stream in lots of information into your body, into your subconscious, into your aura, into your own sense of awareness. So it's kind of hitting all these things, and it feels like it is just constantly tapping on your shoulder, poking, so that you keep moving with this growth. You really are in quite a big period of growth, a big transition for yourself in your own life, not to mention all the other things externally that are transforming and changing as well. So it's important to hit these facets kind of all at once, because they're all being open to you, they're all being afforded to you. And again, like Hattie said, this is stuff that you're going to carry with you in your work, in your daily practices, and regularity. So they're really saying, you know, it's definitely time to open up to those higher realms again, and really have that be honestly, it should be a daily practice for you, Miguel, because it allows you to feel grounded, even just, 5 minutes a day of giving yourself 5 minutes in the morning or in the evening, or if it's better for you, middle of the afternoon, and just kind of letting yourself tune in, drop out all the other responsibilities, let go of that physical body, and really just allow yourself to drift for those few moments, because amazing stuff happens in those places. It really does.
Yes. It really does. I hope that's helped, Miguel. And, I hope those messages resonated with you. I really feel like, exactly like Brandon said, it's time to connect to the higher realm. Like, but listen to, your body too. Okay. There's some body work going on here. Start listening. Amy says, thank you, Kathy. I'm proud of myself. Yeah. And my family has been drawn to want. Oh, that is so good. I'm so glad. That makes me so happy to hear. Cool. So Name is going to be doing readings too. Thank you so much. That when we get that, you should be so proud of yourself, because I really feel like you're so connected, especially into that crown chakra. So make sure, though, you do not drain your energy. That is going to be the most important thing, because I do feel some energy draining for you, Namie. I know you didn't ask for a reading, but I'm just going to give you some quick advice. Because I feel like, yes, people are going to be drawn to you for the readings. Make sure, though, that you do ground yourself. Make sure, and I keep hearing something about standing firm in your convictions, which is weird. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm gonna throw that out there, okay? Or standing firm in your, like, what spirit is guiding you, okay? Like, I feel like that's a very, very strong message for you at this time. So again, hope it helps. And Lovety, I just wanted to, Lovety, if you are watching, come on back so that we can do your reading. If not, if you can't make it for the duration of the show, we will make sure that, you'll be first on next week as well. So hopefully you're able to catch it. And who's next, Michelle?
I actually think that would be it for our paid readings. Although
I think it's Allison. Sure. Allison donated as well.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I wasn't.
No, that's okay.
There is some confusion there. So Allison's question. Allison, I don't believe I got your sun sign.
Allison is Cancer.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. Sorry, I'm having a struggle here apparently. Oh, I don't know where anything's gone. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry guys. So Allison's question was, how can I be my best self to get to where I need to be in life?
Ooh, yeah, love that question.
Pretty deep question. I love it.
It is. Okay. All right. Give me just a second to listen to what's coming through. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so the first thing, I'm just, when people ask questions like this, sometimes what happens is I end up channeling, and I kind of feel like a channel is going to be coming through. So you may have to just sort of, listen, and it may seem a little bit, okay, anyway, what they're telling me is, first of all, I keep getting shown steps. Okay, so steps. And it feels as though they keep telling me, okay, so Allison, I just have to, I'm sorry that it can come out a little bit distorted, because I'm trying to put all of their words into an actual paragraph of some sort. Okay, so I keep hearing a lot of steps. They're telling me not to rush your progress, because there are so many things that are coming towards you within your life, and these are very beautiful and positive steps. There are going to be some challenges, but the challenges, I'm being told, are only really coming in as if you feel like, okay, so if you imagine a flight of stairs, okay, let's say you get up to the 4th stair, and for some reason you're like, oh, I'm scared of the 5th step. I don't know if I should do the 5th step. I feel like Spirit's going to come in and be like, no, you are, we're going to present a challenge or a lesson of some sort to get you up to that next step. And so what they're basically showing me is that everything. They're also telling me that you've been given a lot of guidance. Okay. I feel like from your guides, it could be from your guides. It could be messages. it's just so weird. It can even be messages from people from the mall. This is literally what I'm hearing, or from like, you know, there's somebody randomly saying something to you that resonates with you really fast or really quick. So they keep showing me that a lot of messages are really coming in for you. All right. And as these messages come in, they are each this step in a progress. So what do you need to do in order to progress to your best life? You need to really listen. And I feel like I keep hearing something about shedding, like literally shedding your skin to move to the next level. It almost feels like, you know how a snake will shed its skin when it needs to grow, or a lizard will shed its skin in order for it to grow. This is what I keep getting told for you, is that shed off that old skin and just let it be in order to take those steps forward and to take those steps up. And there is a part of you at times, because they're actually like, I actually feel very like in my body right now, what they're showing me is it almost feels like very restricted or very tight, like in some way, like it almost feels like, you know, if I had a cocoon around me, I would be feeling like that. And so what they're saying is like, don't be scared to bust through that skin or that layer in order to move forward. You got to keep moving. And it's like that next step forward. And again, they're showing me the steps. So if you're going from like step 4 to step 5 and you're scared, they're going to somehow make that skin literally fall off of you in some way to get you up to that next step. But what I'm also hearing is you're the only one that's holding yourself back in any way, shape, or form. They are giving you that guidance. And it doesn't feel like you're holding yourself back, to be honest. I really feel like you're moving forward. You're trying to move forward, but you do have those elements that do scare you in regards to taking that next step up. And that's what they're going to be bringing. So if you get into a difficult period within your life, ask what it is that I need to shed. What is it that I need to release at this time? Because as soon as you do, boom, that trouble, those issues, whatever it is, are going to dissipate. So I hope that's helped. That's what
Kathy, that's so
what
spot on. That's so beautiful. That's exactly the same energy.
I love it
that I
when
was
spirit
picking up
guides come in and channel through me. Sometimes it can get a little distorted in my brain. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean, but it's so beautiful that with such an ambiguous question that both you and I are picking up on the exact same thing, exactly the same. I'm being shown that all of these questions or frictions or things that seem to be going against your own stability, that it is because or a direct result of something internal that you can control. And really try to look at it this way, Allison, that what you see on the outside can be controlled in some way by whatever general emotions that you're kind of regularly feeling. But it seems for whatever reason at this time, you have an ability to give yourself structure by exactly what Kathy was talking about, shedding some of these layers. I'm specifically feeling them be emotional layers. Mm-hmm. And these serve often as like either filters or blocks, right? You know, if we have an emotion that we don't want to feel, we'll put up a block, we'll put up a wall so that way it does not come through. Those will be tested, right? Things will try to come up there, however strong that wall is. But sometimes we also have filters where we're like, okay, I'm going to let in all these emotions except, you know, maybe these few. If they don't sit here on this frequency, then they're not going to be able to come through. So they can serve different functions. And sometimes we have those walls or blocks or filters without even really consciously knowing that they're there. They just kind of happened because somewhere in our subconscious, we made a decision where we're like, I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore, you know, because of how it made me feel. So they just kind of get put up. So this is that time that you really, and I think you really have a very unique ability in being able to do this, because not everybody can, where they can go into themselves, figure out, oh gosh, it was this wound that really, you know, is kind of messing me up right now. You go internally and fix it, and then boom, if not immediately after, shortly thereafter, an external circumstance that was making you feel extremely similar, if not the same way, is going to shed away just as much as you have shed away that, you know, past or memory or regression or whatever it is, that block. So absolutely spot on. We're both in total sync here. With you, and this is like for you following your own path, your own purpose, and living, as you had said, like your best life. This is the way you do it. You have these structures in yourself, and you create structure through way of your emotion. That's a beautiful thing. That's very cool.
Yeah. I truly hope that has helped, Alice, and I hope that's given you some clarity. Sometimes when I'm doing readings, I will see like particular tarot cards. They kind of, will come in and show me like a message of some sort. And I'm actually being shown the Hermit. So I don't feel the Hermit is particularly the energy that's needed. But what I am getting, unless you're going through a challenge or whatever, it's like that Hermit card coming through. But what I'm also getting shown is that Lantern. So the Lantern illuminates the next step. It's not the end of the trail, it's the next step. And so kind of remember that Hermit card, and it just showing you, it may not show you the whole path, but it is showing you the next step. And that's what I keep feeling for you. So
beautifully said. You are that pillar, Allison. You and I talked about that. You are that pillar.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what we were talking about in the beginning, especially about foundations and rebuilding, I really feel that was geared towards you, because I remember seeing you pop in the chat, and I remember feeling some kind of compulsion towards that. So you are all about that structure and that pillar of strength, that stability. That is very predominant in your life.
Yeah. Beautiful energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we're on to the lottery. Is that right, Michelle?
Yeah, that's right. So we are currently 225.
Oh, okay. So is there only?
All right.
There's 3 waiting for the lottery. Is that right?
4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, I'm sorry, that threw me off. Yeah, 4 people are waiting. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
2
all right.
to 5. First off, Kathy, where can people find you if they want a full reading?
Yeah, make sure that you guys contact me if you want a full reading. You can get a hold of me at oracleintuitions.com. The best way to probably reach me is through Facebook or my Instagram at oracle_intuitions. All right. And contact me through one of those. You can contact me at oracleintuitions.com or oracleintuitions1111@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me there. That is the best way. Also, make sure that you guys are watching the weekly videos and the daily videos as well, because, they may give you some guidance, or they may give you some, help with the situation that you may be struggling with at that current time as well. So, and if you're subscribed and you hit the little notification bell, you will know when another video comes up. So
exactly. If y'all want to connect with me, I am at thedreamteacher.com. You can set up appointments with me there, buy some and downloads. What is it? Headphone hypnotherapy is the name of that one. And remember, I was telling y'all, one of my clients listened to it finally on a really good speaker. She didn't listen to it on headphones, and she could hear all these beautiful things that she had never heard before. So it really is curated in a very intricate way. I'm actually working on a couple different other sound things here. I had this real quick. I got to share this with you, Kathy. I was, I shared with you that I saw that snake yesterday on my path. And so I felt just so pulled to snake medicine, snake wisdom. And so I listened to a track last night, and it was a shamanic track about snake, and it was so cool the way they did it, and the way when you think about snake and snake medicine, how the snake feels the subtleties of the earth's vibrations because it's on the earth, and it can feel all these different shifts, and it sees differently. And listening to the track, it was as if you were vibrating on the ground, rustling through the ground. oh, it was so cool. I should share it with you because I think you would love it.
I would love to hear that. That is so
cool.
That is so beautiful.
So that kind of stuff was really inspiring me. So I want to kind of incorporate some of that into these new tracks that I'm building. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, send me the snake meditation too. Okay, guys, I actually have something to show you. Give me like 2 minutes. Speaking of snakes, I'm going to bring my little guy in. So if anybody's scared of snakes, just go away now.
This is the time.
Give me 1
So
minute.
look away. Yeah, it was really, really cool. I loved it. I listened to a lot of shamanic journeying, a lot of shamanic journeys and chants, and like I can listen to drums like all night. And I've been doing that lately. Instead of watching something, I'll put on some kind of meditation thing and just kind of listen and let my mind kind of entertain. And I'm really enjoying it. And the way I did it is okay, this is really cool. I'm going to trademark this or something because this is really, really cool. So I'll put a speaker and I put it facing the corner of the room, right? And it's a Bose speaker. So the sound is nice. And when it does that, it's as if that corner of the room creates like this entity of itself, and it just can overwhelm you and absorb you and pull you right in. It's so cool. It is so cool.
So this is my baby.
That sounds super neat. Oh, so cute.
Now, he's never bitten. Of course, this will be the one time that he actually decides to take a chunk out of my face. But yeah, this is Toothless. Toothless the snake. Just want to.
Toothless the snake.
Yeah. He does have teeth. Yes, we've seen them. But he is he's one of my babies. One of my babies. So when you were showing me that snake last night, I was just like, oh my God. It's probably such a good thing I don't live in Texas, because I'd have a whole room of critters, right? So he's so cute. Yes, I know. He's my baby.
He's so little.
He is little. Like, he's getting bigger now, but when I got him.
You got him.
What's that?
He's definitely gotten a lot bigger since you got him, I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's looking a little bit.
He's my baby. He loves having his little chin rubbed and everything, so he's pretty cute. He's just staring at me like, bitch, what you doing?
I wasn't camera ready.
Yeah. What you doing, mama?
That's my snake is my Chinese zodiac. I'm an earth snake.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that was me.
Why? Because I'm just a goat. So
I'm
goat.
Goats are my favorite animals, so I'm okay with that. But
they're so cool.
Yeah. Snakes are mine. I'm just like a double goat sign. Like, it's just lame.
You're a goat as well?
Yep. Doubling down on goat, Capricorn.
And it's funny because we love little baby goats. They're just adorable.
They're so cute.
I know. They're one of my favorite animals. So well, let's get into the lottery, I guess, hey? And we'll see what's coming through. We can probably do, quite a few of them today. We'll see. So
okay. Brandon, you want to pick a number from 2 to 5 for us?
2 to 5, absolutely. All right, first up is going to be number 3.
Okay. So number 3 is Victoria. I hope you're still in there, in our chat, Victoria. They had a pretty a question kind of looking between two things, which I kind of try to gently remember that we cannot pick for them, of course. But Victoria is a Taurus and looking for kind of a career path reading. She's kind of going between two different things, but I'll let you guys take it from there. If you want to know which two things, let me know.
Yeah, I think that I need to know the two different things that you're choosing. If you're in there, if you're still in the chat, Victoria.
So I do have them here, but Victoria, if you're there, please chime in. It's between counseling and graphic design.
All right.
You know what's funny? I'm actually hearing. Just give me a second here. I feel like graphic design would give you a more Okay, so this is what I'm getting, is that I feel like counseling is something that you feel like you have to do, whereas graphic design is something that you're desiring to do. I'm not sure if that makes sense to you. It almost feels like you could almost do both, is what I keep getting as well. I feel like you're very drawn to counseling in the extent that you truly love guiding people. You love to be there for people. Like I really feel, what is her sign again?
Taurus.
Because it feels as though you can connect with people on a deeper level. But I also sort of get from your energy a weighing down in regards to counseling. Like it feels as though you could be taking in too much energy that isn't fulfilling you. Okay. Like it feels as though you would be, very happy doing counseling, but I don't feel it's quite your heart's desire, is what I keep hearing as well. So I'm going to have to say either, if you decided that you wanted to do both, like make counseling as your, day job, but maybe also bring in the graphic design, to keep you balanced and stable as you go through this process, as a job. So I hope that helps.
That's not a bad idea. I think there might be a little frustration with having to juggle too much at once. And I know I can feel just Victoria right now. I feel her energy, like really wanting to dedicate singular focus. And I would actually have to agree with you, Kathy. I would side more towards the graphic design, because when I tap into Victoria and doing counseling, what I keep feeling is that it's just a lot of energy that you're going to have to deal with, that I think you would become so overstimulated and maybe too stressed in helping other people, with their moments, their issues, because I feel you being quite sensitive. And regardless of how you come across to other people and strong, etc., which I know that you are, that I think you're a shoulder to lean on for many people naturally already. But there's something about them taking away from your energy that I feel would keep happening. And it's as if it starts to, after a while, I'm shown that it starts to hit your core, it hits your roots. And then you start questioning, oh my gosh, who am I? What am I about? What am I supposed to do? So I think it would be extremely beautiful in that you would learn a lot about yourself. I think you would learn a lot about so many different lessons in your life, and you would get to revisit your own personal traumas and things, and then help other people along their path. But it's going to take a lot, and I feel like it might take more than graphic design. When I look into graphic design, I feel that this is going to be such a beautiful addition to the expression that you do naturally have. I feel that there are artistic qualities to your own abilities, whether you've tapped into them or not. It does feel like it will come natural, because you know what's aesthetically pleasing, and to a lot of people, I feel like they're able to see your taste. And if you don't get those compliments, I feel like you would, at least in your work, about, oh yeah, that looks beautiful, or this looks great here. Or, I think you just have a nice knack for what looks good, and especially aesthetically pleasing. I also feel that it would be a really great way for you to network and to grow your network, is if you were in graphic design. And I feel that support of the community around you and other people of like mind would be really, really beneficial in your own personal growth. Versus counseling, I feel like you might be a little bit more forced to do things on your own and deal with things on your own more so. So I think it's a preference on what you personally want, but those are the energies that Kathy and I pick up for each one, and the decision is ultimately up to you. That's the lovely thing about life, right?
Yes.
I don't even know if Victoria is here.
I know.
I'm not sure.
I'm waiting to see, but
maybe let's do a roll call. And name everybody on the list who's left, just to make sure they call out in the chat to see if they're here.
Yeah. So Hearts, Love, Joy is there too. So
I did not get a question yet from Hearts Love, but if you have the question in front of you, either of you, feel free to ask.
Hearts, Love, Joy. Joe is asking, just wanted to ask why Jackson hasn't contacted me yet, and did he get the message I sent him?
Oh, sorry, I missed your question, Hearts Love. If you guys wanted to read for that one next, I'm just going to do a quick roll call here. We have.
Okay, so Hearts Love. So what is Hearts Love? What is your sign? I think you may have said. I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't want to do the lottery?
I don't know. I think there's only a couple that are still in the thing. So maybe we'll just do two more, or maybe a couple more. We'll just see who's here first. Kay's here. Love, Hearts, Love, Joy's here. And who else was on the list, Michelle?
We have Gatha and Neelam.
Okay. Are you guys still here? Oh, Gatha is here. Okay. And Neelam.
See if Neelam is here.
Hearts, Love, can you just give us your birth sign and Jackson's birth sign, if you don't mind? The first energy that I'm getting coming in from Jackson, so when I look into his energy, there is an energy here of him being overwhelmed with something. I don't know if this is exactly his emotions. It just feels as though there's a lot of something is going on with him, is what I keep getting. It almost feels as though he's being it's like something is too much for him. Something is too much for him. I don't know if this is particularly your energy or just other, and it almost feels like there's a lot of things that are coming at him at this time, not just with you, but it feels like this could be family, it could be work. Like he just feels overwhelmed with his within his emotional state. So I feel like, okay, the advice or the information that I'm hearing from your guides is to don't message him again for right now, because I feel like there's pressure on him. Like he feels like he's got a lot of pressure on him, and I feel that if he had to respond, like if he's in this place of feeling like I have to respond, it may not be as friendly or opening as you would like it to be. I just feel he's got a lot of things that he's got to deal with. They do not feel like romantic situations or anything like that. I just feel like they're like work or family. I kind of almost want to ask if there's somebody in his family that might be dealing with some sort of illness or a stressful situation that could be putting like pressure on him, because it just feels like he's exhausted within his energy is what I keep getting. So it's not anything. I don't feel it's anything against you in any way. It just getting that. It's like it's something else I have to do, or it's that overwhelming like. Oh, she says, I think it's his mom. Like, it just feels like they're putting so much on him that at the end of the day, he has enough energy to turn on a TV or block his mind out. And like, he doesn't want to participate with anybody else. And this, again, it's not a personal thing towards you. And it's not one of those things where somebody says, well, if they cared about me, they would message. No, it has nothing to do that. He's just literally like he's exhausted and overwhelmed at this moment. I feel, oh, she's very controlling. Yeah, because it's like he's trying to break free, but he needs some time. I feel like give him. So I'm hearing about 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, give him a couple of weeks. to go through this energy, because it almost feels as though there's a part of him, he's participating in the energy that she's giving to him, but it feels as though he's making a plan in the back of his head. It's like his subconscious is making a plan to move away from this situation in some way. So this could result in him sort of exploding in his emotions. It could result in him somehow taking a step back or whatever. But that's when that energy towards you is going to be stronger, especially if you just sort of remove yourself from the energy. I feel like about 2 or 3 weeks is what he needs. So that would be about, end of June going into July, somewhere in there. All right. But it may go more into July. Like, I want to say like almost like the first 2 weeks in July, somewhere around there. He will be fine, but he does need to release this controlling energy or whatever this is that's overwhelming him at this moment. And it feels like it's like subconsciously he's making plans. So he may not be actually physically making plans. Like, he might not be in his head, sitting there going, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And but he's subconsciously getting to that point where it's becoming so overwhelming that there's going to be some sort of emotional leaving of a situation. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm just saying, like, if you're taking a step back, he will recognize that in that extent of, now I can come forward because I don't have this emotional stress over me, from other things. So I hope that's helped.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. I do want to speak on the energy I feel between the two of you, Joe and Jackson. I will agree here that I do feel Jackson being detached in some way, and Spirit just keeps showing me that there's like this disconnect happening, and it doesn't feel because of anything that you did or anything that's dependent on the both of you. It does feel like some kind of outside source or circumstance, and quite literally, Spirit keeps showing me that there's lots of either like daydreaming or fantasizing going on. So there is a detachment even with reality, not saying that, it's like out of his mind or lunacy or anything. It's just a moment or needs of escaping by going into the mind and wandering a little bit. So that energy actually still feels present between the two of you, because when I look at the energy between the both of you, I'm being shown that your connection is being unlocked at a higher energy level. So I think Kathy is spot on here, that there's something going on subconsciously with him where it's pulling in the two of you, and you probably are picking up and feeling it and then getting frustrated because it's like not happening physically. So it is important to remember, when we do connect with people, especially intimately or in the capacity of some kind of relationship, we are connecting on multiple levels. So just keep that in mind, because I do feel that psychic energy or the higher frequency energy in your connection together. I am also going to second him kind of contacting and reaching out to you. Specifically, what Spirit shows me is that a bond is going to be brought to you. They keep showing me a bond is brought to the female, which I feel here is your energy, representative of your energy. So I do feel like there is advancement towards you. There is movement towards you, but your challenge is to not let yourself get hot-headed, fly off the handle, and either push or say something, that is going to make him react. We're not looking for his reaction. We're looking for his honesty, an integral, honest, direct movement. So I think your challenge is going to be exercising patience, which you probably don't want to hear that. But I think you're going to have to, because I feel whatever he's dealing with, like Kathy was saying, I don't feel it has anything particularly to do with you, but it is causing a detachment in him. So let that play out as it needs to. And all you have to do is watch your reactions and be patient and let him come to you, because that's also what you want in this connection. You want him to come to you and show you that he's pursuing you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's helped, love, joy, our hearts, love. I keep mixing up. I must have dyslexia. I swear to God, I'm reading things backwards.
Hearts of K.
Yeah.
Next question?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I figured we'd read for Gatha first, and then for Kay and then probably wrap it up since I don't think we have any.
That sounds good. Let's do that.
Okay, sweet. So Gatha is a Scorpio, and her question is, who's coming towards me in love?
Ooh. Okay. Do you have a relationship now, or is there somebody that you're interested in currently? I don't know if I'm feeling like this is an open question. like I feel like your question may have more of a like there's somebody behind it that you're sort of thinking of, possibly, somewhere in there. Nope. Okay. Just give me a second then. Okay. I don't know if there's going to be anything immediately. Okay. And when I talk about immediately, I mean like not tomorrow, or maybe next week. What I am getting here, I'm hearing something about a lot of individuality or a lot of individual energy that's been going on. So, so everything's been pretty stagnant. So I just read what you said. So that would explain that individual energy. It's like nothing's really moving forward at this moment. I keep hearing something about August for some reason. It almost feels as though like the beginning of August, I keep hearing something about letting go of the energy of wanting that relationship too. Okay.
Shut up.
What? Did you just get that?
Oh, keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It almost feels like there is an energy here that is expanding from you. Okay. Here's the thing. Sometimes stagnant is not a bad thing. Okay. Stagnant is not always a bad thing because it allows us to really form what it is that we're seeking or what it is that we want to manifest as a person coming through. And so I feel like the stagnation is going to be really beneficial to you because it's allowing you to go into this energy of deciding what type of relationship you want. How do you want to bring it forth? Like what type of person do you want to come in? The problem is that when you have stagnancy, we can go one of two ways. One of our first instincts is to just sort of reach out and run to whoever's paying us attention. So that's a negative stagnancy. Then there's a positive stagnancy where we're just focusing on us and we're just in this place of raising our own, as we talked about before, value. We're raising our integrity. We're learning our core self. We're going into this place of truly understanding who we are and what type of relationship we want to come forward. And I feel like this is going to be an important time. So even though it's been stagnant, use this in a way of making it important for you. And I just kind of feel like this next month, maybe month and a half, really sit there and go into of who it is that you want to draw forth. Okay. What kind of person, what type of person can I see myself with in the future? What are their qualities on the inside? And then you will find yourself vibrating with this. And this is what I keep getting. Michelle, what do you're saying, I'm getting a feeling of growing disconcertment. What do you mean by that?
Oh, I meant, discernment, not disconcertment. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Discernment. Yeah.
I don't know if I might not know how to spell that word, even though I
know. No, you did. You spelled it right.
No, you spelled it right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So discernment, just you're growing your ability to discern between a couple, like just a really good judgment kind of spirit. Mm-hmm. Like you don't really have time to reflect on that. Even though stagnation can feel like that. I know. Mm-hmm. If you can kind of just take everything if you don't know what you're looking for. And sometimes it's good to know a little bit, right?
I love that. I love that. And that's exactly what that's exactly the energy that keep coming through. It's like, don't ask from and here's the thing. I don't feel like you're desperate in any way, or any of the words that I'm using are meant in a negative fashion in any way. I just feel like you want to be in that place where you're so solid that what you're truly desiring is going to step forth. Okay. And that's the energy that I keep getting. And I do feel timelines can change. It could be a little bit before this, but I just feel like it almost feels like there's another month here of really focusing on what you want to manifest. That's what I keep getting.
Yeah, I'll say, everything, it's just spot on here with what I'm picking up too. I'll say it though in the way that I was shown and interpreted. So what Spirit shows me is that you are going to sort of be growing your network, and they're showing me that there's going to be communication with different people at this time. So I think this echoes exactly what Michelle was talking about, what Kathy was talking about, that by talking to other people and connecting and just getting to know people, not on any serious level. Maybe the intention for yourself is serious, but not going super in depth, just keeping things at a surface level. It's really going to start showing you what you want and what you do want to discern. So right now is the time to just kind of explore. Don't expect anything serious right now. This really is the time to gather resources, if you will, and you're kind of gathering information based on the different people you meet, and you're like, I like this. This energy feels nice, but this thing really, really turns me off. So I'm not going to go over here. That's going to be important, because exactly what Kathy said earlier, what I'm being shown is that when you sort of disconnect from giving your emotions out, is boom, right when somebody comes in, like immediately after. But it's only when you have really sort of pinpointed that more specific energy of what you personally want in that relationship, like Kathy was talking about as well. So super synchronized message here, Gatha. Your energy is definitely very open. It's easy, I think, for all of us to pick up on your energy. And I think that speaks volumes. And honestly, if you are connecting, here's the biggest thing. You might have been connecting in the past with people who could not sense your energy. So therefore, they're only in the connection for themselves. They're not even in it to connect with you. And so this is that time to finally find and have that connection of somebody who feels you where you are. And really sees you in that capacity and that connection, because you do that for others. So why shouldn't it be done for you? And I also am going to have to second this other part. Leo season feels extremely strong for you.
Yeah.
It feels like during this next month or so, this is really that networking, talking to people. And I feel mostly in the beginning of July, I feel a lot of things that are taken as value and set as core parts of the self. And then near that mid-July point, towards the end of July, is that's the start of Leo season. And that's where I really feel like that kind of comes in, because I can feel a little bit of dramatics with you being like, all right, enough is enough. Cut that thing off with the emotion, and then boom, that person comes in. It's interesting how that works.
Yeah. I hope that's helped. And thanks for so I don't know if this was your first time, but thank you so much for joining the show today. I don't know if I've seen your name before. So
I love their energy.
It's fantastic energy. So I just feel really good things coming towards you. Just take your time at it. There's no rush on this one, because the energy that will come towards you will be matching for your energy.
Yeah. Yay! Well, welcome. Thank you for coming.
So welcome.
So cute.
And I believe we'll do Kay as the last question, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
I'm actually looking forward to Kay, because I've been getting messages for Kay. So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, Kate, if you're there, we're ready for you. And her question is, she's of course a Virgo, by the way. How did Sarah feel towards me when I was sitting in her office?
Okay, so I'd seen your question earlier, and the first thing I felt coming through, I don't know if you were sitting there with your legs crossed or something, but all I kept hearing was hot. Like hot.
I
Like,
feel it.
like,
Oh yeah.
like she, like Sarah was like turned
Steamy
on,
office.
or what's that?
The steamy office.
Yeah, it was like that was the first thing that came through. I was just like, whew, okay, this girl was hot for Kay. I actually am getting like there was a little bit of trouble concentrating within this. So if she seemed off in her nature or like her wording, because it almost like for me, the energy that's coming through is feeling very you know, when somebody's trying to talk, but they're distracted. And so they're like, you know, or whatever. It almost feels like that type of energy. Was it her hot for me? Yes, girl. Shush. Yes, she was hot for you. Yes, that's like it. That's exactly. She says, I tried to behave. Yeah. I don't think she really wanted you to behave, but you know, it's probably good in the workforce, but yeah, she was absolutely like literally to the point of distraction. Like I feel like she's trying to she almost stumbles on her words, like she's maybe coming off as very awkward but trying to be professional at the same time. That's what I'm getting.
Totally spot on. That is such a strong energy. I feel that from her as well.
Yeah.
It looks like the energy between the two of you, that feels interesting. It feels different from the last time we had connected with this, because I am feeling like the two of you are really starting to see a clear path emerge before you. And it's like you're both on little separate paths, and then they were like coming together, but still traveling around each other. And now there's like almost this consideration of merging that the two of you are coming to understand. I totally second exactly what Kathy was talking about with her energy as well. I do feel that awkwardness, that like stuttering around, like, what do I do? How do I, you know, embark on this? Because I can just feel, she feels your presence when you walk into like any room, you know, and she's there as well. There is that feeling of her being just impacted by you immediately. I feel like I can feel with her. I feel her being frustrated by this because it makes her lose her sense of control. And I feel like she has probably prided herself on being able to control situations and control this and that. And this is just one where she's kind of thrown, you know, in the ringer here. She doesn't know what to fully do or think. So that I think is really impactful for her, because she feels you. She can't help it. It's just a reaction. I am asking Spirit what's to come in the future between the two of you. I'm not sure if you would ask that or not, but when I ask, I'm being shown that ideas of bond or relationship or commitment, like they're just going to come up over and over again. It almost feels like that energy is there, but it just needs to be acted on in some way. But just be careful, because at this current moment, it feels like there are things that could eat away at that bond. And there are things that feel persistent, like they're trying to make their way in, and it's all denoting that the energy has to be fully formed and stable, I think, before that solidity ever comes. Okay, she has a boy. Look at that. Perfect. So clearly that would be a total external factor that forces this, but you can't help but to feel that bond. You can't help but to feel like it's already there. So I would just, you know, she needs to obviously deal with things on her own, and she needs to come to terms, you know, with what she's feeling in regards to you. But just let the bond be the bond for now. And I wouldn't create anything, especially with her having a boyfriend already. I wouldn't create anything that is rigid or set in stone. It's just a very clear, you both impact one another, and there seems to be something important there. So it makes sense why I haven't seen the paths fully emerge yet. That makes total sense as well.
Yeah. Oh, so she says, so it wasn't me. I didn't want to sexually harass her.
Well, definitely don't. I mean, you got to respect the workplace. You got to respect all that stuff.
I do feel like it might be important for her to make those first moves,
yes,
but it is definitely on her mind. So I don't think came off too strong. I feel like your behavior is right in that perfect area of she could take it as flirting or she could take it as friendly. That is going to be within her perception.
Yep.
And I feel like that's important to you know, to maintain as well, right?
Yeah, she's got some things to sort out in herself, in her mind. You can't do that. You can't do that for her. She's got to come to those on her own. So just let her, when she clears up something in her mind, and then she finally sees, and then she'll make that action, you know, when she's ready. So that's why we're saying let her kind of be that one.
Exactly. Exactly.
But woo, you both feel it. My goodness.
So guys, thank you so much for you know, for the show. Oh, Michelle's back. Yay.
Like, speaking of hot,
I was like, you just popped up. I was like, what did I do?
I wanted to say goodbye. So yeah. Show with you guys. I won't cut you guys off too much, but I gotta get out of here. So I'm gonna finish making some food and eat it, I guess.
Same. Well, thank you, Michelle.
Bye,
thank you very much.
Love you.